morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Tay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. It is the Morning Shake with me, your host, Xavier Hendricks, and of course, my co-host, Mr. J. Paris. What's happening,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. 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 Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins? Bless up to the world. What a beautiful Monday morning. This is Broski. It's that new week vibes, new energy, new blessings. They ain't believe in us.
God did.
God did.
Listen, a Monday show is always a little bit of a challenge just to get people into the zone because, you know, it's Monday. People are like kind of, need to get back to work, need to get my system back in check. So, yeah, man, we got the difficult shift, but we got it online. People are going to start hopping online now and checking it out. It's an interesting conversation we're having, so I had to call in the heavy artillery. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our other co-host, the Andrew Boysons.
Hello. The irony of that, the heavy artillery. Weighing 42 kgs.
Nah, it's heavy up here.
I hate that, here. Xavier. That's body.
It's heavy up here and in here.
Already we started.
Look at that now. You see?
Already.
Toxic masculinity.
I have a duck What's happening, Libby?
I'm good, thanks, and you. Welcome, everybody. This is the Monday morning shift. Indeed, it's the Morning Shake with Xavier Hendricks and J. Paris. But please do me a favor, if you haven't done so already. Please like, please subscribe.
And
please
share,
hit that notification bell, and please share. And join in the conversation. We'd love to hear your views. Like, I want it to it must be raras, it must go mal there in the live chat. I just want to see, you are talking nonsense. So, yes, I agree. Just whatever you feel, man. Even if it's like poop emojis or flame emojis.
Or just don't say anything, because a lot of people don't. Although they agree undercover, but they're afraid to speak out.
We want people to say stuff. We want people to start speaking.
And that's one of the major points of the conversation. We're supposed to have Jezo. Yeah, I don't know whether Omi is. He says he's going to pull through. He'll probably show up in the middle of the conversation. But that's the point of the conversation, bro. There's a lot of people who agree, like, undercover, but they're scared of cancel culture. They're scared to say something. Look, we're out here, man. Like I always say, stand behind us. We'll take the lead. And if you're scared to say certain things, it's all right, man. We'll say it on your behalf. Because you're scared of cancel culture. So obviously the topic of today is an interesting one. I've been following the story. Jay wasn't following the story. I've been following it now for quite a while. One day I was scrolling through my IG and I saw somebody speaking. I saw this gentleman speaking about traditional gender roles, right, in family, in society, whatever else. And he was speaking about how a lot of gents are out here struggling, how gents are out here not getting DMs, how gents are out here kind of, not getting any kind of response or reaction from ladies. And just how a lot of gents are just, sitting in their rooms watching things they shouldn't be watching, playing with themselves and playing video games. You can make of that what you will. And he says that there's a lot of gents just doing that. And then he made a comment to say that there's a lot of ladies, especially if they're good looking, they're out here, bro. They're out there getting the DMs. They're out here, having options on their table because they can decide who they want to reply to, if they don't want to reply to anyone, and they can decide if they want to accept the date or not, especially if they, pretty good-looking woman. So he was like showing that contrast of the two worlds of how gents, the only way to get some sort of clout is if you rich, famous, have a nice car or whatever, and ladies, the best way to get clout is just a good-looking girl. You're definitely going to get someone up in your DMs, right? So that's what he was speaking about. And I was scrolling through IG and I was like, yo, who's this guy? There's a little bit of facts to what he's saying. Let me go check it out. Then I went on to YouTube, which is, brother's chair is irritating me. It's busy squeaking.
Yeah, we need to get that fixed.
Yeah, then I went on to YouTube and in YouTube.
Stand the old show.
Nah, such as now. Then I went on to YouTube and to go and find the interview, because if anyone knows that there needs to be full context to anything, right? There needs to be context to anything. It's easy to clip something and make it sound like something else, but if there's no context to it, then you can take it out of again, like you said, out of context. And in the scriptural world or in the biblical world, we call that exegesis, which means you look into the text, you understand the background, the history, blah, 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 and then you make it make sense, you know, in its context. So it's easy to clip something and then make it sound like something else when it really isn't, right? And so I thought, let me go and check. I'm saying that to say, then I went onto YouTube to go and check the full interview. And then it was an interview on a podcast channel called Fresh and Fit. And he did a couple of interviews on this. So I looked for the clothes he was wearing in the little clip that I saw on IG to see if that's, you know, what he meant and where he was going with the conversation. Needless to say, I watched about a good 30 minutes of that section to see where he was going. There's a bunch of things I agreed with, and there was a bunch of things I disagreed with, right? And so that opens up the conversation. And then I started following him. Then I started checking more of his stuff. Needless to say, a lot of people started vibing with him. So much so that he became one of the most popular people on the planet, right? On Google search, he was the most searched person. He was more searched than Donald Trump. He was more searched than any of the Kardashians. He was more searched. And he literally blew up like overnight. People couldn't understand why he blew up overnight like that. So some people did some digging. And of course, if you don't like someone, if you don't vibe with them, you're going to want to go and look for something negative to say about them. You're going to want to go look for something kind of where they're doing something wrong. Needless to say, it didn't take people a long time to come up with something to say. So we have something called Hustlers University, which I'm not a part of. There's no affiliate link in the bio. I'm just telling you the story. He has something called Hustlers University. So he says it's an online university. There teaches like people how to hustle, like with cryptos, with drop shipping and blah, 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 blah. And so he charges, I think, $40 or $50 a month. So you pay the subscription, you get access to the platform, and then it basically teaches you how to do cryptos, depending on what, you know, what you click on. If you're saying you're clicking on cryptos, if you're saying you're clicking on drop shipping, if you're saying whatever the case might be. And that's kind of the university set up. Now, the thing was that he says that when people join Hustlers University, they get affiliate code, which means that if someone enters through almost like a pyramid scheme marketing kind of setup, where it's like, if you click through my link, then I get percentage or commission off your thing, which is what trading people do, which is what a lot of these trading platforms do. They give you an affiliate link. So if I recruit 10 people, I get X amount of their trades or whatever the case might be. So it's out there. People know that this is what it is called, affiliate marketing, right? So now they were like, okay, this is how he became so popular, because he was asking people to join the university. When they join the university, he says, okay, bro, you can make an extra $50 if you get, like, let's say 10 people or 20 people to log on with your link. So obviously now people were posting his videos, putting the link on the bottom there, so that when people click on the link, you must now obviously benefit from it. And that's how he became so wildly popular. Needless to say, he was very smart, Andrew Tate. He knew that his ideals and the things that he says goes against popular culture, right? It goes against the LGBT community, which is popular culture at this point. It goes against the feminist movement, which is popular culture at this point. It goes against the COVID, which is everyone had to agree with it or else. And so he knew that his ideals would rub people up the wrong way. So what he did was he didn't open up his own platform. He allowed people to share his content on his behalf. So he would share things in Hustlers University, and then people would clip it and share it on his behalf. So when the day comes to cancel him, he says, I don't even have a platform. So he became so popular that he eventually opened up his platforms and he started having his own platform. He became so huge that last week, I think it was Monday or something like that, all big tech, and they were getting a lot of pushback from LGBT. They were getting a lot of pushback from the feminist movements. And obviously from government because of COVID. And they were like, yo, you gotta shut this guy down. He's busy garnering way too much attention. There's too many people listening to him, and people are actually taking what he says to heart. So we need to shut him down. And so literally within a day, he lost his TikTok, he lost his Twitter. Well, he lost his Twitter first. Then he lost his Instagram. So he just came on live one day and he was like, yo, my Instagram's gone. He still had his TikTok and he still had his YouTube. He also lost his Facebook when he lost his Twitter, same company, Meta, right? Then he about 2 days
Is
later
this completely banned or is it?
is completely
appealed?
banned.
No.
No repeal, no coming back, nothing. We off the platform, like for good. Then he, a day later, then he lost his. They deleted his YouTube channel, and then they deleted his TikTok channel, like permanently. And so a lot of people were upset about it. A lot of people started asking the question that we're asking today. Is this cancel culture getting out of hand? Is it getting to a place where, if you don't agree with LGBT, we delete your page. If you don't agree with feminist movement, we delete your page. If you don't agree with the COVID thing, we delete your page. Is it getting to the place where now it's obvious that they restrict certain things because they don't want you to have freedom of speech is a word that's been running around a lot. Freedom of thought is a phrase that's been running around a lot. Is it that they want you to think like this, or else we delete you? That's the $1 million question we're asking this morning. And I'd like to throw it out in the air and see. And also, if you are watching it online, please jump in the comment section. Is the cancel culture getting out of hand, or do you agree that Andrew Tate had to be banned?
Yeah, bro. I think I'm still fascinated to know exactly what did the homie do. I mean, you painted the picture beautifully, but what did the guy do? And like you mentioned, I haven't been following the story, and I'm sure there's people watching that are gonna watch that wants to know. So what did this guy actually do that caused
such a heavy
So one of his
punishment.
one of his big things that he says, which I don't agree with, which caused a lot of which rub people up the wrong way.
Yeah.
He says that men are allowed to cheat, women are not allowed to cheat. Right? That's one of his big things. Another big thing, another big thing that he says is that women are men's property. So to a certain extent, there's an element which is biblical where there's a matter of wife honor your husband.
Yeah,
husband
that
love
depends
your wife,
on in which situation.
Blah, blah, blah. So there's
also the wording
there's a
tinge
tinge
harsh.
there's a tinge of there needs to be honor for your husband and blah blah. But that's also in a marriage, right?
Yeah.
But the way he is now saying it is like, you property, I own you. And so obviously people are like, you can't say that, which I agree with. You can't, you can't be saying that now. That's a bit harsh. So those are two of the big things that he says. And then obviously his views on COVID. He says that when he was flying commercial, they were telling him, put your mask on and blah, blah, blah. Then when he was flying his private plane, no one was wearing masks. No one was worried about COVID. It was non-existent. And then he flew to Stockholm. What's the place called? I can't remember. It's the city of Stockholm. And when he flew there, they didn't have lockdown the whole lockdown season. So he and his brother were living there for 3 months because they didn't want to be part of this whole lockdown thing. And he says, so he feels like, what's the deal with this thing? If some places don't have it, you fly private, you don't have to wear masks. When you're flying, commercial, they force this masking on you. So he feels it's like a slavery kind of thing where they're forcing you to do certain things that they don't want to give you the freedom to think for yourself. So those are some of the things that he says that obviously rubs people up the wrong way. So with the COVID thing, I 100% agree with him. I also feel like that was a bit taken out of proportion. But with the men own women and that,
So bro, don't you think to a certain degree it's correct in I don't know, completely banning the guy, but now you're using obviously these platforms to say such and such. Yes, you do agree with a lot of the stuff that he says, but if there are some stuff, bro, that are gonna cause some harm, I think there are certain steps and boundaries that needs to be put into place.
Yeah.
So again, I haven't followed the entire thing, but based on what I'm gathering, I think it's partially correct.
To have banned him.
Yeah, partially
What do you
correct.
say?
Yeah, so I've also not really followed much of what he does. I've watched a couple of videos, and obviously I started to the first time I heard about Andrew Tate was actually through Xavier, when we were talking about it and stuff like that. And it was that last time when I had Blaine, the artist, on my show after his controversy on TikTok and stuff like that, where they cancel Blaine, the artist, for his
His Tate-like views.
Tate-like views, I would say.
Sounds a lot like Tate.
And so that's when I started to, that's when the word Andrew Tate just basically filtered through my universe, right? And that's not when I started to get to know him. But I've sat and I've listened to a couple of his videos, and I do agree with some of the things that he says. But then there's also certain things that I'm like, yeah, no, you are just pushing the boundaries now, and you just want to be controversial. But your controversy is becoming toxic and stuff like that. Like his thing about owning women and men can have multiple partners and stuff like that. And when I watch it, like there was one thing that Xavier showed me where I was watching this lady she goes on a date with him, right? And so she's gone on a couple of dates, and she goes on a date with him. And at first like when she meets him, she's like, oh, okay, at least somebody who dresses nice, somebody who smells nice, a man, like, so she's attracted to his physical appearance. And that's basically the main point that he's driving. He's like, you look, when the minute you meet a guy, you meet a guy for the first time, right? You, who is an intelligent, beautiful woman, is not gonna take some guy that looks scruffy or some guy that's like at first glance. Because the first thing she comments on is that he's a good-looking man, he dresses well, and he smells well. And then she starts getting into his financials. Like, what do you do? Because now she sees,
that's the first question. She's like, okay, that's how he looks.
And that's the point that he's driving. He's saying that make men again. Because what women do is they've got this double standard, which he tries to, and the way he tries to drive this point is by becoming controversial himself and saying things deliberately to tick women off, right?
And
especially
really
feminists. And then he later on in the conversation, he gets to things like, because she asks him, like, so what happens if I cheat on you? She brings up the question.
Okay.
And she says, so what happens if I cheat on you? And, or, whatever. And he's like, no, that's disgusting. Why would you even say something like that? Why would women cheat? That's disgusting. So
but
immediately,
now he makes a statement. I don't know when was this, but he makes a statement saying that it's cool.
But look how he sets it up. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Like, when you watch things objectively, watch things with a critical eye. Don't just jump on the first thing. Really, and I think that it goes to understanding the psyche of people and understanding human behavior. And I mean, not everybody is going to understand that, right? Without actually making the effort to do so. People are just going to jump on the bandwagon because they don't want to take the time to actually understand what is this guy actually trying to achieve. And if you listen to him, you see that it's a strategy that he uses. So he ticks this woman off deliberately. And I don't know, does he really believe that, or does he just say that? Because in the interview, he says, like, I knew that 1, 2, 3.
I'm saying things on purpose because I want to irritate her. Yeah?
Yes, he says, I knew 1, 2, 3 would tick this woman off. It would solicit a response, a strong emotional response, which I want. So I'm not too sure, is that a manipulative tactic, or which also in its own right has its own problems, right? If you're trying to be manipulative throughout the whole thing and you're manipulating relationships and stuff like that, that too is for me like a red flag. But if you watch him, he does these things purposefully because he wants to drive a point. He wants to, because a lot of the times with what he says, he catches her out on her double standard.
Because so then if he asks her, okay, go for it.
So if he says to, like, she says to him, look at this, and you tell me, is this wrong, right? He says to her, she asks him, if I were to have an OnlyFans account as your girlfriend, would you be okay with it? And he's like, yeah, as long as I'm getting the money. Because you are my property. I own you. And she's like, then she gets riled up and she's like, no, don't come here with that patriarchy and those kinds of things where you own me and stuff like that. But look at the double standard. You as a woman would put yourself out there on an OnlyFans page for other men to see you, but you're upset with him for saying that he owns you. Look at that double standard. So that's the reason why I'm saying, if you really sit and you listen to what he is saying, you will see that the reason why people don't like him is because he's challenging their status quo. And you know how it happens. If I can't get my way with you, I'm going to throw a tantrum and I'm going to say, yeah, you toxic. So again, you see what I'm saying? That's why I say, don't just watch him and want to cancel him. Ask yourself the question, in which context is he doing this and why is he doing that? Because of all the videos I've watched, he hasn't done anything out of context that would not solicit that kind of response. He's always challenging people's status quos. He's challenging the popular narrative with his unpopular opinion. And if you really think about it, you ask yourself the question, I ain't like that. Like with that example that I'm making. You okay to put yourself out there on an OnlyFans page for other men to objectify you, but you're upset when a man that is your boyfriend says that I own you.
I don't agree with it. Yeah, which is a double standard.
So look at that.
But here's my big thing that I also want to just throw in there, right? This homie is his father was a world champion chess player, no? And then he was a world champion chess player from like the age of 5 or something like this, and he became quite popular early on, right? So also how he plays his cards is very strategic. He's incredibly intelligent. Like he's very strategic in how he does what he does, and like
it's everything calculative.
Even that girl is like, why are you so
calculative? She uses that word.
Like, why are you so calculative? Like every question I ask you, there's like a thing behind it or whatever. But the point is also trying to drive is that I'm intriguing you, am I not?
Yes, and she
even admits she's like, he's intriguing. Like I want to know more. Like because then they ask her at the end, so would you go on a date again with him? And then she says,
first she says no.
Then after she's like, ish. Yeah, I want to go on another date with him because I want to prove him wrong. So it's like he still managed to intrigue her. So he's very calculated in how he operates.
You can clearly see that this, like with women like her, she's a very strong woman and she's got a very strong temperament, like masculine temperament, which means that she herself is agreeable. She's got a big... she's agreeable, but she's also disagreeable. And she's not you can see the reason why she's intrigued by him is because she's not used to men challenging her in that way, because she's already she's got a strong personality and she herself is an intellect. And you can hear by the way she asks the questions and stuff, this woman is not...
Yeah, she's smart,
She's not smart. I don't want to say stupid because that's offensive. Yeah. But she's smart. Let me just put it that way. And you can see it, and that's the reason why she's intrigued by him, because all the other guys that she's been on a date with, you could see like they play clips of where she was on dates with, and most of the guys are just interested in like sex, right? And he comes and he's like, he's having an intellectual conversation with her, and girls, I just want to say, honey, like I know, I see you were feeling some type of way about the Tate.
Yeah, bro. I think, bro, after that little thing that she had with him, if he had to say, come jump in the car with me, she would have went with him, bro. 100% she would have went with him. Jezo, jump in there, bro.
Broski,
what do you think about
what's happening? How you doing, bro?
I'm here.
How was the weekend?
No, not too bad.
How was the scores?
Looking good. We scored my goals for all the games we drew.
Yo.
So now I was excited about that, to see my team actually have a W on the board. I know there's some other teams out there that's still gonna criticize and still gonna go at us, but it's alright.
It's for your Friday conversation. The Gents are gonna fight again on Friday.
No, it's right. We must. It's important to fight.
Now we're gonna have knives here on the table on Friday.
Last man standing. Last man standing.
Nah, I'm tripping. What's up, bro?
Nah, I'm good and you, bro.
What's happening, bro? Jumping on the topic, what do you think about the homie Andrew? Do you think he was supposed to be banned? Do you think it was unfair?
Sorry, I just found it funny. Some people are calling him Bandrew.
Wow. I just want to know, what color is your Bugatti?
Nah, bro. What color is your Bugatti?
Wow. You had to go there.
That's all I want to know. What color is your Bugatti? Now, for me, look, at the end of the day, I feel like YouTube and all these platforms, once you say something they don't agree with, they just ban you. They don't give you a reason anymore. They don't, like, you look at Jordan B. Peterson when he was banned on Twitter. He goes and he explains everything. He's like, okay, so you banning me for A, B, C, D, E. But in A, B, C, D, E, you're not telling me, is it A or is it B or is it C? You just ban me. You just give me all the reasons why I could have been banned, but you're not telling me exactly what why. The reason is for me being banned. And I feel like it's the same thing with Tate. He himself, you wake up one morning, you say,
you're off.
I'm off. I can't get... I feel
no
like
reason, nothing.
No reason, nothing. I feel like the way they're doing things isn't right. You should actually engage with a person. Let them know, okay, A, B, and C was offensive. We don't agree. It's
or shadow ban that video.
Yeah, or just a video.
Or demonetize it or something.
Yeah. Not take the whole man off a platform.
Yeah.
It's like, and at the end of the day, the man is bringing He's bringing you so
billions
many
of views, bro.
That's why I'm
Nowadays.
saying he's bringing
But that's
so
why
much
that's
to
why
the
they said
table.
TikTok's not banning him because he brought in like 1.8 billion views, bro. Just on TikTok alone. Him alone,
Yeah,
bro.
because whether you like Andrew or not, the main thing is he's talk of the town on YouTube, on TikTok, on everything, every platform at this point in time. He's the main talking point. So it's like, if you want to make money, why are you banning the guy then that's bringing so much money to the company itself?
But it's again virtue signaling, and this is the same issue that Matt Welsh and Ben Shapiro has, and even Jordan Peterson. It's like it's just virtue signaling that if this is the argument that happened with Dave Chappelle and Netflix also. It's like, are we going to virtue signal and pander to one community? Like this one community must now control everyone's thoughts, everyone's talking points. It's like, and dare God forbid you go against something that this community does or says, and this community is adding new things to their community every week. There's a different letter, there's a different meaning to this. They're changing meanings to things. Things where when they get caught out for certain things, then they want to change it and this and that. And it's like, okay, so now what must happen now? You can't just keep changing things. At some point there must be a basis that we all are going to agree on to say, okay, right, here's the basis we all agreeing on. This is what we all saying is fine. But we can't just be being all over the place here, bro.
And the thing for me is, if you like the guy, you watch the guy. If you don't like the guy, you don't
Then
watch
don't
his
watch
stuff. So,
Yeah, and there's a lot of worse things taking place on social media.
And that's what a lot of people are saying, bro.
But you see, this is the thing that the reason why. Look, for me, I like discourse, right? As long as it's mature and as long as it's constructive
And articulate.
And don't just come and I want to come and ban every Dick, Tom and Harry because they don't agree with you. What is that? That's childish. Stop. Like for me, just grow up or grow up. You know what I'm saying?
Or come up with a constructive conversation that you can have civil discourse.
That's what I'm saying. Look, for me, I do believe that it's good to have people to oppose, right? So I don't think that everybody must now agree with Andrew Tate, just as not everybody must agree with the leftist, right? There needs to be that discourse because that is what makes society it balances things out so that there's not extremes, because you see what happens when there's extremists. And if Andrew Tate, I do think that there are people that needs to challenge him, but you must challenge him, don't ban him. Like have a conversation. Now the problem
and
is
challenge him intellectually also.
This is the thing. A lot of the times what this group of people, which is I call the extreme left, the woke mob, the things that they do is that they're the kind of people that sheep go with the dead fish, go with the flow. Don't do your own research or whatever. Sound intelligent by making up new words, like words that never existed before. That's how you're gonna come across and sound intelligent. For me, that's just masking your own insecurity, and your insecurity is that you are quite ignorant. And it's this whole thing of ignorance is bliss. So what they do is they'll rather ban him so that they don't have to deal with having to have a conversation with him. That's the reason why they want to ban Professor Jordan B. Peterson. They want to ban Andrew Tate. They want to ban the Daily Wire. They want to ban all those guys. Why? Because they're not getting the satisfaction of having an intellectual conversation to rebut any of their claims.
But
they
you know
don't
why?
have that.
But
that's the reason why the easiest thing to do is just ban them.
But you know why they can't rebut it, or why they don't want to rebut it, rather, is because they can't rebut it. Because what these guys are saying, there's large elements of truth to it, and they know it. So the easiest option is like, just ban this person rather, because now obviously they're going to expose now nakedness. They're going to show where we're getting this wrong, and so every time they expose something, but guys, this doesn't make sense. This is not right. Change the letter, add a new meaning, add a new word, and just cover that mess there. It's like, but we can't operate like this.
And that's why I say,
discourse.
if you can have like if I were to sit down and have a conversation with Andrew Tate, right? Obviously, you need to have a high level of emotional intelligence, because this guy is gonna say things that's gonna tick you off. He's going to. But now you have to put that aside and you have to listen attentively to what he's saying, because this is what people do. They don't want to listen. They don't just want to listen to understand.
They do that with Jordan Peterson also.
They want to. They've already. It's like those people that you can't have. You can't even argue with them because you're like, this is pointless. You already making up in your head a rebuttal without even listening to what I'm saying. In fact, your rebuttal has nothing to do with what I just said now. I can say the sky is blue and you can say, yeah, but when you go to the toilet, that gravity force that drops when the stools go in, I'm like, what does that have to do with the color of the sky? And that is the thing. Like the last time when we had Blaine on our show, and I posted, I clipped a piece of it to when he was talking about, don't come and say that bruised masculinity or what, something like that. Fragile masculinity is like, because masculinity is fragile to begin with. Like, when you out there in the world on the playground where you start, your father's like, no, you must hit him back. Your masculinity already comes into question. What he's saying is not wrong, but because it's him that said it, and because he said things in the past that offended people, they're not even willing to listen to what he has to say. So people in the comments is like, yeah, I'm so upset that everybody just agreed with what he said. But you do that. You part of the woke mob. You just agree with everything that the leftist is saying. So why do you become offensive when other people are doing on the opposite spectrum what you yourself are doing? Is that not hypocritical? And this is the thing that makes guys like Andrew Tate and the likes, this is what makes them so controversial, is because they're questioning the status quo, and nobody wants to rebut that. They don't want to have an intellectual, constructive conversation. It's just, let's cancel them. Ooh, hashtag toxic masculinity, hashtag the patriarchy, hashtag anti-feminist. It's like...
Nah, I think his clickbait game is
on fleek though.
It's on fleek, but it because of the...
It's controversial.
It's controversial, but that's the point.
There's actually an article, I don't know whether it's true or not. Mr. Tate, 35, first gained mainstream media attention after appearing on the reality show Big Brother in 2016. He has since carved out a space online where he claims to know the secrets to wealth and makes hateful comments. Among Mr. Tate's comments, he has said women who are raped are partially responsible for the attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they use
now,
that all the time. Yeah.
He definitely says things that's going to tick you off. But how do you deal with someone like that?
They like using that particular one, which again, I don't agree with that. And the other thing, there's certain things you're going to agree with and there's certain things you're not going to agree with. We can't answer everything by delete, cancel. It's like,
no, but obviously once you start growing popularity and so forth, I mean, you said you was one of the...
Now, it's the most Google person in the world. Bro.
So once you get to that point, of course...
You're now posing a threat now.
Of course, bro, so...
And I feel like he says things just to stay in the light. Because a lot of times I feel like he just says things just to stay in the light. But that he says, it reminds me of something that Ben Shapiro says. He says, if you, let's say you're walking through the ghetto. If I'm walking through the ghetto and I'm waving $100 bill, chances are I'm going to get robbed.
Exactly.
So whose fault is it? He says, yes, partially it is my fault because I'm walking around waving $100 bill
in a danger zone.
In a dangerous area.
Do you know where that danger is?
Yo, literally. And he says, so obviously you're going to get robbed. He says, yes, you can't be blamed for getting robbed, but at the end of the day, you knew you're walking through a dangerous zone. You knew you're waving $100 bill. So the chance of you getting robbed is quite high.
It's high, yeah.
So he says it's the same thing with other people that put themselves in different situations. You know if you're going to... in the US, it was a frat party, you know. You know, if you're going to a party where there's going to be drugs and alcohol and all that thing, and you're around a bunch of hooligans, chances are you putting yourself in that situation, you also getting drunk. Yes, you're not to blame for it, but the point is you put yourself in a situation.
Although, bro, we are against innocent.
No, we are, but I'm saying
definitely.
It depends on the situation that you're putting yourself in.
Jay, that's the, and I always say this to the guys. I'm like, this is the problem that I have with this thing of, but that big but word irritates me because it's like with that conversation that we always have of LGBTQI plus, and it's like people are like, because you're so scared of being cancelled, you're not willing to have proper discourse. And what happens? You become disingenuous, right? Because now I don't trust you anymore because you're saying things that I know you don't really mean. Like for instance, when people say, but Christians are supposed to love, and then you guys are saying that homosexuality is a sin. No. Then you say, although the Bible says homosexuality is a sin, but I still love you. For me, if I was homosexual and a Christian said that to me, I'd slap you because I know in your heart that's not exactly how you feel. In fact, you are the type of Christian that is saying things just to make me feel happy, so that I don't have to have a constructive dialogue with you or discourse, just so that you can shut me up. No, let's talk about it. Let's understand, why don't you agree with me? Because I can still love you and I can disagree with you. But now you want to just do away with it. Shoo it away. I love you. It's like giving a child, saying I love a child, and you're giving the child money. You're not dealing with the issue of love actually, because love will tell you, if you are going into the danger zone, I'm gonna stop you, knowing what is there, right? And so I understand what they mean. And again, Jay, like when you say this, it doesn't now mean that I'm for sexual abuse. That's not what you are saying. We need to get to a point where we truly understand when we say certain things. It's not that we are perpetuating a certain culture, or that we are agreeing with the act of sexual abuse in that form, because it's demonic, it's disgusting. There is no, I don't care if you are how drunk or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But you can't take away root cause issues. Let's deal with the root cause. Why are you getting so offended by the fact that, because she always says like, yeah, you're making me look stupid, that Andrew Tate, when she has that conversation with him. And he's like, why are you so obsessed with looking stupid? That means there's a root cause that is causing that. Who made you feel stupid, kind of a thing. Let's deal with that. Let's deal with the psyche behind that. Let's deal with the fact that, why are you going out there putting yourself in a danger danger zone for attention? Why are you doing that? Why are you, I'm not saying that, and I'm not trying to police a woman's body, but I'm saying, why are you dressing like that for attention? What is the root cause of it, if you know that this is where the danger is, right? Yeah. It's the same as like with guys. Why are you so obsessed with objectifying women? What is the root cause? But we don't want to deal with the root cause. So what we do is we just keep allowing things through the gate.
Preach.
And then we want to turn around and we want to get upset for guys like this. Because now they basically calling you out on your BS.
But my thing is this, like what you were saying, and I know this also causes a lot of controversy and causes anti-trust. When you say that, look, bruh, if you dressing in the mirror before you go somewhere, né, and you wearing a skirt where you can basically almost see your bum cheeks, né, surely you know that once I'm gonna look at your bum or not, or what? Am I wrong? No. Am I wrong? Surely the thing is, just like, you know people are gonna look at you. You didn't wearing something that's like literally like this. You can see the cheeks on the bottom. It's like if you bend down, everyone's gonna see everything. You when you leave the house, you can must feel to say, all right, yeah, it's danger zone here for
but
me.
But not only that, I hear what you say, but you leaving that, you saying, okay, yeah, but look at the guys. Why is guys looking? It's not only the guys. There's aunties and mothers that's also looking to say, kijk nou die kind.
Yeah.
She's wearing her bum. So now you're just making it for the guys. No, guys are staying at my bum now because I... But it's not just the guys, the aunties is also like, okay, you
yeah.
And again, to say that, bro, men must have discipline. They must have discipline. There's no such a thing as...
Definitely.
Also, now I can't wear a bum shorts and whatever. No, wear the bum shorts. Yeah. But gents must also be disciplined.
Nah, but don't wear it in public, bro.
No, you
can't. Nah, even if they wear it in public.
Cheeks.
As a gent, you must have discipline not to look. But as a girl, you must know the people are going to look must now.
So, but this is where the double... Can you see when you allow so many things, you run around in circles. You're going to start running around in circles because what are you doing? You're trying to please everybody. When you
because
know
why are you wearing that in the first place, Lee?
Of course, for attention,
because you know it's gonna create attention.
Then they say no, I like it. I like the way I look in the.
I'm confident. It's body positivity,
which is fine. But then you're gonna get attention.
You know what? It's so interesting for me that the Bible even speaks about it. He says that the most when it speaks about the body parts, right? It says that the most sacred body parts are covered.
The modest,
right? Yeah. The modest ones. It's covered because there's so much dignity in it. Now, if you expose it, you strip it of its dignity. That's literally what it's saying. And so that's why I'm saying it goes both ways. Just because I'm saying that you cannot want to garner that kind of sexual attention. You know that it's sexual attention. Don't even come at me with it's because I'm feeling myself and it's because I do it for myself. Then dress like that when you're at home. Then don't do it in public because it's for yourself. Isn't that it? Isn't it privacy? It's for yourself. So don't
that's
even
what I'm saying,
me
not
with,
in public.
But I do it for myself and I do it because I feel confident.
But
no.
It's fine if you want to do that. But then know the people are gonna look.
But that's the thing.
And some
because
people will approach
you know,
you.
this is my thing, nah. This is
They
my
will
thing.
get that
This
attention.
is my thing. We want to act dumb about the state of our world when it suits us. But then we want to make big noise of Me Too when it suits us. You know the state of the world. You know that there is sick people out there. You know that there's psychopaths. You know that there is rapists. You know that there's crazy murderers. You know it. It's like you were saying, you're going to a frat party, there's going to be a bunch of young people that is intoxicated. Their frontal lobe is probably not even fully developed. So to ask them to think straight under the influence is not really going to add up the math and mathing. You know those things, but you still go. You still go, you still get wasted, you still do these things.
Bruh.
That's what I'm saying. Not taking away from the fact of that men should be disciplined, but also then you have a responsibility. Just as much as men have responsibility, so too do women have a responsibility.
Bruh, come on.
And that's why I trip with some of these women, bro, that speak about men are trash and so forth on. You know you're going for the F-boy. You know it.
So now when you
get
know
what
when
you're in that danger zone, bro.
You get what you were going for. So now, if I go out now, I'm a car enthusiast. If I go out and buy a red Ferrari or a burnt orange Lamborghini, I'm buying it for myself because I like cars. But I can't expect, bruh, to drive down Columbine and not have people look at me, want to take pictures. It's unrealistic for me to expect that nobody's gonna say, "Oh, bruh, can I get a picture? Bruh, can I see it inside?" But you must, what do you do for a living?
Also, hatred towards getting such a car, bro. And
but what I'm saying is
people-
that
I
you must
saying,
know
bro.
that that's gonna come with having that
package.
car, bro.
I'm
People
looking
are
at-
gonna
yeah.
want to look at it. People are gonna want to take pictures. Because that's how
people
people
are gonna want to scratch it.
So I can't now be angry and say,
All angles, bro.
Yeah.
angry. Why are you looking at my car? Why you wanna? It's a Lambo, bro. A yellow one. People are gonna want to look
People's
at
gonna
it.
want to scratch it, touch it, hold it, feel it,
Yeah.
rub on it.
Yeah.
No, G, not
Pump
like
it.
that.
Yeah,
It's
there must
true.
be, there must be
Likewise
discipline.
with-
For real.
If I see a gent and I see Daisy getting out of his Lambo, I'm a car enthusiast. I want to take a picture of his car. But now I'm trying to gauge the situation. Like, hey, is it going to be inappropriate if I approach the homie, whatever. Then it's like, now I can see first, to try and gauge it. Like, hey, yo, bro, your car is dope. Yeah, no, thanks, bro. Bro, is it okay if I get a picture? Yeah, no problem, bro. You know, it's like, you have to try and see how you gauge the thing. But now if you're a pretty woman, you're wearing revealing clothes, surely people are going to be looking.
And you know what? So,
who's that?
and then there's a flip to this coin, right? Then you just get people who are trolls, who just want to troll for the sake of trolling. For me, I say to you, ask who DreamWorks to cast you in the next Trolls movie. Stop being like this, you know. You were bug and just, what is wrong with you? Why do you want to rain on everybody's parade? It's because why? You don't have your own parade.
What
That
happened?
is the thing.
Tell us what happened to Ben Shapiro on the weekend there, because he went to a convention.
Yeah.
And again, I just don't understand how we okay with the things that are happening out here.
So there's this organization called the Podcast Movement in the States, right? And they had their Podcast Movement conference, so PM 2022. So PM22 is the hashtag that was going around. And I think this was 2 days ago. I think it happened I think it started on Thursday. And so the Daily Wire, who is this conservative media house, they had a stand. They booked a stand at the convention. And Ben Shapiro made an appearance because he is one of the co-founders of the Daily Wire. And obviously he's got conservative views, so there's many folks on the far left that just like him, right? Liberals and so forth.
Not even many, like there's literally a handful of.
Yeah, and it's also because again they challenge the status quo and they're not just accepting
I'm willing to say
everything
majority
that
of the people agree with him.
they do agree with him,
And
but
then
they
there's a small
they're
minority.
scared to
They
There's a
won't say
loud
it.
minority that does.
So he was at this convention, right? And somebody tweeted at the podcast movement that they felt offended and unwelcomed at the convention because they saw Ben Shapiro there, right? Needless to say, this person identifies as a trans queer person with a uterus. They don't want to call themselves a woman, so less offensive person with a uterus. Okay. Anyway, let's get into what they issued an apology on Twitter because that's obviously
This whole apology doesn't make sense.
yeah. So this is what they said. Hi folks. We owe you an apology before sessions kick off for the day. Yesterday afternoon, Ben Shapiro, this was on the 25th of August 2022, so yesterday would have been the 24th of August. On my birthday. Thank you, Ben, for going there on my birthday. I appreciate you. Yesterday afternoon, Ben Shapiro briefly visited the PM22 Expo area near the Daily Wire booth. Though he was not registered or expected, we take full responsibility for the harm done by his presence.
They offended by his presence.
Goes on to say, there's no way around it. We agreed to sell the Daily Wire a first-time booth based on the company's large presence in podcasting. It's a podcast expo. They're a big podcaster. In fact, they're sixth in the world, rated the sixth in the world, and they're competing with big media houses. The weight of that decision is now painfully clear. Shapiro is a co-founder. A drop-in, however unlikely, should have been considered a possibility. Those of you who called this unacceptable are right. In 9 wonderful years growing and celebrating this medium, PM has made mistakes. The pain caused by this one will always stick with us. We promise that sponsors will be more carefully considered moving forward. Just to clarify, no TDW, the Daily Wire representatives, were scheduled to appear on panels, and Shapiro remained in the common space and did not have a badge. If you have questions, we're here to talk. Thank you for reading, and we hope you'll continue to join us from here on out.
So basically, one LGBT person was offended because Ben Shapiro was there. So now they put the whole place has to put out a statement because he was there by his booth like he was supposed to be. So now are we getting to the place, guys, now, where the LGBT community is so intolerant that you're not even allowed now to go to a convention now?
I would love for you to. Sorry, Jay. I would suggest that you go and watch. Ben Shapiro. He actually responded to that. He responded to that apology, Ben Shapiro, on his YouTube channel, Ben Shapiro. So you please go have a look at it. The title of that video is "I'm clearly a very dangerous man." So yeah, please go have a look at it. And so basically, they show a video, right, of what he was doing there.
He was like greeting the people,
and they were like. Drones of fans that came to say thank you so much for the work you're doing. We appreciate
take
you.
Photos with the
Take
people,
photos with
greeting
him.
the people. Now
God
they say it's
bless you.
dangerous.
But one person, one
Out of
trans
so
queer
many.
person
Now it's
out of
always
so
gonna be the
many
dot
from
on
a
a white
distance,
sheet
and
of
this
paper.
person took a picture. This person with a uterus, I can't call it a human because it's a person with a uterus, took a picture from a distance and said that
It's
this person with
offensive.
the uterus feels unwelcomed. Because this person with the uterus was threatened.
This is getting a bit out of hand now. At which point, and I like what Netflix did with the Dave Chappelle thing also. And I like what even Andrew Tate is doing now. He's on a different platform and he's telling his homies to share it on YouTube still anyway. So his videos are still all over the place. My question is at which point is there some sort of balance? Because now it's so far left that now even the homie comes to his booth and now they must start a whole apology because the guy came to his booth.
The booth that they paid for.
That they are podcast, the fourth biggest podcast in the world, sixth biggest podcast in the world. They're at the podcast convention. They're at the podcast convention. But one LGBT person feels some type of way. Now it's like, guys, no man.
I think that was a bit extreme, bro. But at the end of the day, I also do feel as though the brand you build, you will know the shots that's gonna come at you.
But watch, Jay.
That is extreme, no doubt. That's
he
extreme.
Didn't speak. He wasn't on the panel. Nothing. The homie just showed up, bro.
Bro, whether or not
And
West Coast,
he
East
didn't
Coast,
say anything. He didn't engage
West
in
Coast,
dialogue.
East Coast, parking the East just because of the brand he built, who he is, and so forth. On you're going to get hate mail.
Bro, that's a little bit. It's a bit extreme for me, bro. There's a little. It's a little.
No, but that's what I'm saying, bro. It
this
is extreme, bro. But the brand you build and so forth on, bro, you know based on what I stand for and so forth on stuff like
and
that.
you know how I know that they don't want to sit in constructive dialogue with anybody actually that doesn't agree with them is because when they are invited onto platforms like this or whatever the case may be.
We've tried.
Exactly. When you invite them onto platforms like this, them knowing what you stand for, they don't want to have a conversation. But they can run their mouths on social media when it's just them behind their screens with their thumbs doing the work. They can do those kinds of things, but they don't want to sit like this and have a conversation.
But
because the thing is, we're not right about everything. And we can gladly admit that we are not right about everything. So come and tell us. Come and share your insights with us.
We just
It's
kids
the Inside
talking
Show.
on a show.
Come and share your insights with us.
But my thing is, that's part of the reason the people from the LGBT community, especially, doesn't like civil discourse is because I think intrinsically they know that a lot of them are unsure about their own stance on the whole thing. A lot of them flip-flop the whole time. They change. They now say they're gay, then they say they're lesbian, then they say no, they're trans, then they say no, okay, they're gonna go for the operation, then they say, I'm gonna leave
Depends
the operation.
on where the world is at.
It's like,
aliens
depends on where we are now. Then they say, nah, we're gonna allow pedophiles to be part of the thing. Then they say, no, we don't want pedophiles to be part. Then they say, but what's wrong if an older man likes a small child? It's like, it's so all over the place that they themselves know that it's not solid.
Yeah.
So when you want to have civil discourse, it's like, I don't have a firm ground to stand on actually. And this is why this other guy, his name is Seiko, or what's his name? I think he's on Sneeko. He does this
He's
thing.
not a big Andrew Tate.
Yeah, he's a massive fan. But he does this thing where they go to like New York, ne? So they went to but it wasn't him, it was a video he was watching. They went to a LGBT march in New York, ne? And they asked like simple questions. They were like, yo, can you name 3 countries except the USA? They couldn't name.
That was funny.
They couldn't name not even one other country, bruh.
Never mind that. The one they ask people on which
which
continent are we? They're like
The ones in Africa.
This is in the United States of America, which is North American. They asked them on which continent are we on. It's in the name America, North America. This person Rachtivar says South America.
They ask him how many
You just want to
times.
build a wall, but you just don't know in which continent you are on.
They asked us one LGBT one, how many dimes are in a dollar? She said 100. They ask us other one, who's on the face of the 50-cent coin in America? First, they all say, no, there isn't a 50-cent coin. He says, no, there is. The other one say G unit.
That's a great answer. G
He
unit.
say G unit. And so now he pauses the video. He's like, these are the people that are canceling us.
Yeah.
These are the people
Yeah.
that are sitting behind their computers
Yeah.
canceling
People.
sane-minded intellectuals, bro. These are the people in their droves canceling you. They doesn't even know, can't even name 3 other countries. They asked that other one, name us the Kardashians. She named all the Kardashians.
Yeah.
They say, what's your star sign? She know a star sign. She know what a star sign means, everything. They ask, name 3 other countries. She can't. They ask, what language do they speak in Dallas or something? She say, Japan.
So they equip in.
She doesn't even know Dallas is a city in Texas, in a state, in America. So it's like, when it comes to certain things, they quick to cancel you. But when it comes to having civil discourse, there's nothing there.
We out. And then he makes this one girl so dumb. Like, I can't remember what she said and it was wrong. And then he's like, she's just so, I'm really intelligent. She like feels herself. I'm like, can you be so blissfully ignorant? That is the epitome of ignorance is bliss. Remember we had a show 10 months ago. We were talking about cancel culture. 10 months ago we had a show on the Wednesday warm up and it was cancel culture. You could be next, and Zaki was also on the show and so were you, Jay. And we were saying like, if you keep perpetuating this cancel culture, be sure that you, who is part of that woke mob, will also be cancelled, because this people is flip-flopping. So the minute they feel triggered by anything, they could be Lizzo,
said something about Spazzy.
Spaz in a song,
Yeah,
Girls.
they cancel a whole song.
She had to change she had to change one word in a song after releasing that song because it was ableist.
Imagine that, bro.
Because it was ableist. It was it was offending disabled people.
But to me, what really hurts me now is when they talk nonsense about Christianity, when they blaspheme the name of Jesus.
Yeah, you can't
when
be upset.
There's nothing you can do.
Look at that campaign between Adidas and that other brand and Addison Rae, right? She was wearing a bikini, right? That says Father, Son, and on the bikini bottom it said Holy Spirit. Buy her private parts. And that's okay. That's okay because
those people won't get cancelled.
Because that's art. That's art.
So to me, there's a very clear kind
you're not allowed to get offended. How dare
agenda,
you?
Bro.
Because you guys
and that to me is frustrating. Hop in on the comment section, please, Jay. Or Jezo.
He's also Jay, bro.
Okay, in the comment census.
Census?
In the census, we have Keegan saying he speaks with authority. That was to Tate. And then he says people need to take responsibility for their actions. Input always has an output. Then we have Dre Grobler all the way from the UK saying, hi guys, cho! It's now fire today. Clarence saying, happy belated Sister Lee.
Thank you.
And then Dre goes on to say, world is gone soft. You can't speak your mind anymore without offending people. Then we have brothers Ron Horn saying, good morning, my people.
Good morning, Juan.
So yeah, guys, in the comment section, are we getting, is this LGBT thing, woke culture, feminist movement thing getting out of hand? I want everyone to go watch a video called, we might have to link it in the bio, called The Red Pill. It's about a feminist, a strong feminist that goes to have she goes to interview like men's health and whatever else. And needless to say, I don't want to, well, spoiler alert, is that by the end of the conversation she has with this guy, she actually realizes that, he actually has a point here. And they actually don't want to kill women. They don't want to rape women. They don't want to cancel women. They have nothing against women. In fact, she comes to realize that the hardcore feminist movement actually wants to cancel men and get rid of men. And then she also finds out the danger of not having a father in the home, the danger of not having a masculine figure for a child. The disconnected child grows up in the lopsided kind of development of the brain. Like all these things, it's like, listen, my take is this, bro. We need fathers in the home. We need good, strong men. I'm not talking about these corrupt politicians and all that. I disagree with that 100%. And I also don't believe men should oppress women. I believe when I got married 8 years ago, my wife kind of came with a very old school approach to like, okay, you the husband, so you must go and operate. I'm the wife, I'll chill. And even I was like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to start something? Do you want to do something? I'll help you. I'll advertise. I'll market for you. I'll do whatever. Then you can must now do your own thing. So I was like, the mindset of like, you can do you.
Woman
like,
empowerment.
do something for yourself. If you want to do something, I'll support you, whatever. And I'll do my thing, and I expect you to support me in that too. So I do believe that women are entitled to having positions, are entitled to having... Where the challenge comes is that a lot of times what happens is that when women begin to earn more than their husbands or whatever, sometimes they come and then treat the husband like a child in the house. Or sometimes they come and then look down upon the husband, or like kind of, I have more money than you, so who are you? And so intrinsically Jordan Peterson also shares this like in detail. He speaks about the way men approach a marriage. I've also counseled situations, and I've spoken to Pastor Neil, who counsels many situations. You had him on his show, and he says this happens when women earn more than men. They sometimes feel like, make the men like a kid in the house or whatever the case might be. And a lot of times the gents lose their confidence. They kind of like, okay, right now, am I just here, And mentally, via psychology and also research, they found that when a man earns more, he's intrinsically wired to want to provide. for his family, for his house, make sure he's paying the things, make sure the house is paid, school fees is paid. It's intrinsically how a man is wired. So it's very rare that you'll find that he'd want to like spite a woman with money or whatever. He'll be like, Ish, let me just pay the things, let me just cover for those things. In fact, I had a conversation with a counselor, which was actually Pastor Neil, and he said so far for the past probably 6-7 counselings that he had, this was an issue. The financial side was an issue. And he says even the gents are getting to the place where if there's extra money, they immediately throw it back into the house because the second the wife knows how we have another 5,000, come let's do this, come let's do that. He's like, yeah, but we still need to pay this, we still need to pay that. The car's still behind, we still owe on the water and lights and things. So intrinsically a man's nature is to, yo, let me cover these bills. And intrinsically a woman's nature is to, come let's go relax, come let's go do something fun, which there's nothing wrong with. But now it's kind of that priority thing. If there is money, by all means, come let's go chill, let's go do something.
Although that's not in every case,
Not
because
in-
you
no,
get
not
some
in every case,
instances where there's women who are like the savers, and then there's men who just want to
Who just
splurge
wanna
or
be-
who want to go to the to the casino
Casinos
and
and things, yeah.
Dovel
So it's not
and-
it's not always, but it's a lot of the time. And so it's all, you know, this conversation gets tricky and sticky when we speak about the different gender roles and all of this, especially in a society now that wants to get rid of gender roles altogether. It becomes a challenge. But yeah, and Elise says, it's clear we're living in the last days. That's true.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's me for today. Closing remarks from everyone.
Stand for what you believe in.
Cheers.
You do you.
Yeah.
Wow.
One line,
After
guys.
all of those things that we just said, it's you do you.
Stand for what you believe in. Yeah. Don't
if it's-
don't
yeah.
don't back down. Don't back down. No matter how hard the pressure's gonna come at you, stand for it. Even it's like
That's saying that
if,
you're saying now.
even
Yo,
though
yo, that's the
see,
thing
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
thinking.
even-
That's
even though- no, but-
counterproductive.
even-
After
even
what we
though-
just said right now, and you like, no, stand for what you believe in, and then you believe twak.
no, I'm saying, but yeah, also just based on Andrew Tate and so forth on. I mean, go out there, buy the old Twitter,
Yeah, I told him, like, yo, bro, just
buy the old Twitter, buy the old social
The
media
thing is,
platform.
you can say stand for what you believe in, but a lot of the time our beliefs are based on flawed theology or ideology or
Dermatology.
exactly. Yeah.
You leave.
My closing remarks, I'm going to quote a scripture from the Bible. It's Matthew 10 from verse
Gynecologist.
16. And this is what Jesus says to his disciples, and he says it to us because it's in red. So this is Jesus speaking. I'm not lying.
You're
You
not
can go
saying you
check.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm checking. You can go check it. So it says, Matthew 10 verse 16. The NIV translation, Jesus says, I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. He's talking to us as believers, as Christians. And then he says, therefore, Jesus is telling us to do this, né? Just by the way. He says, therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. He says, be on your guard. And this is what's happening. Because he says, you will be handed over to the local councils and be flogged in the synagogues or on social media in our case. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings as witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you or deplatform you or cancel you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time, you will be given what to say. Because you've got the Holy Spirit in you. This is for us, right? Andrew says he's a Christian. So I'm not too sure. Maybe him too. He says, at that time you will be given what to say, for it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of the Father speaking through you. And so that's my advice to you. For those of you who stand for righteousness and justice, because we make no excuse on this platform, that we come from a very strong Judeo-Christian worldview, and we are not going to back down from that. We are not going to make excuses, because the world is very bold in what they're saying, speaking on behalf of the Prince of Darkness, and they can say what they want to say and they won't get cancelled for it. They can encourage rape and they can encourage murder and they can do all those things through popular culture, and they're not afraid to say it. But the minute we say anything, then we are hateful and we are bigots and we are 1, 2, 3 and the other. So I'm going to say this straight. We make no excuse for that. And so I'm appealing to those of you who stand for righteousness, and even those of you who have a Judeo-Christian worldview but you don't profess to be a Christian. Stand firm in what you, but also the only way you can stand firm is if you know that what you're standing on is firm. And the Bible says that stand on the rock of all ages, because that thing never crumbles. So that's what I got to say to you. Yeah, and that's my closing remarks. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Facts.
Xavier.
Thank you everyone for being on the show. Dope show. You guys were quiet today in the comment section. There's a bunch of you watching. You were all quiet, but it's fine. It's fine. Share the show with everyone, whatever else. Go and check out the different platforms. Check us all out on our IG. Don't know how long we'll still be there. But yeah, go there and check us out. Love you. See you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins, and bless up to the world.
And then Tay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro.